Welcome to the International Baseball Coaches Show. We are live here in Tokyo, Japan, a beautiful city. We're excited about being here. We're at one of the Little League games that are currently going on. And right now we are with Mr. Iwata-san. He is the manager of the Nakano Little League. There's a tournament going on. They won their first game today, and next week they will play another game, and if they win 5 games, they will win the spring tournament. It's amazing. This is an 11, 12-year-old team that plays extremely well, and the first thing I like to do is obviously introduce or welcome the manager of the Nakano team, Mr. Iwata-san. Hello, Mr. Iwata-san. Thank you for being on the show. Now, a question, how long have you been managing this team?
監督になってどれぐらい経ちますか？日本語でいいです。
日本語13年。
13 years.
13 years he's been managing. Now, he has currently no sons or daughters on the team.
今お子様チームいらっしゃいませんね。
いません。
So, in Japan, a lot of the managers in Little League, do they have sons, daughters on the team, or do they do it as, because they just love the game?
日本では、お子様がプレイヤーでいる人がマネージャーだったり監督だったりコーチだったりすることは多いんですけど、あなたらそうではないのには続けてるんですね。
そうです。
Yes.
Because he loves the baseball.
Because he loved the game.
Yes.
But especially in Tokyo, many managers, do they have sons on the team or no?
リトルリーグでは親御さんが監督やってることが多いですか？
多いです。
Yeah.
Yes,
In
many.
any case.
So just like in the U.S., many of the
ア
parents
メリカも
coach.
一緒ですって。
And he's been coaching 13 years. He has assistant coaches. Are they also volunteers?
監督以外のコーチさんもみんなボランティアでなさってるんですか？
いる人もいますけども、子供、親が。
Parents are volunteer.
Parents are volunteers. How many games throughout the year do they play?
1年で何ゲームぐらいやりますか
70試合ぐらい。
？70?
70. And it's interesting, how many practices do they have during the year also?
練習はどれぐらいやってますか？ Every weekend, maybe?
Every weekend, all year?
1年を通して毎週末やってま
毎
す。
週末。
Yes.
Yes.
All year.
Now the practices are only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is that correct?
練習は金曜日、土曜日、日曜日ですか？
土日。
Just only the Saturday and Sunday.
And then how long do they give us, ask Mr. Iwata, how long do they give us to practice? How long during the day on Saturday and Sunday do they practice?
何時間ぐらいやってますか
8時間から9時間。
？8 to 9 hours
Now,
per day.
now they have 11 and 12-year-olds for 8 to 9 hours. The big question around the world when they see our show will be, why do they practice so long, and what are the benefits?
なんでそんなに長くやるの？何がメリットなんだ？
日本の習慣ですかね。
It's a custom of Japan.
It's custom. But what now? Every little league team practices that long.
で大体のチームは同じような時間。Yeah, same as the whole
Yes.
team.
How does a manager and coach keep the attention of 11, 12-year-olds for 8 to 9 hours during the day? Give us an idea of what they do.
11歳、12歳までの子供をそんなに長い時間練習させて、だってこうそう継続して練習に集中させるのが、もしアイデアがあれば教えてくれって。
いろんな、1時間から2時間ぐらいの時間があって、いろんな同じ種類いろんなことをやっいろんな種類の練習をして集中させる。
He customized a practice menu just to the kids' conditions to keep their interest in the game. So he make some variation of the practice menu.
So there's a variation of the practice schedule.
Yeah.
Give us a little idea, like the first thing they do when they get there a little bit. How does practice start? Beginning.
朝何から始めるんですか Running?
Running. Then after running, what else?
でランニングの後は何するんですか
ランニングなんつうの体をほぐしたりいろいろストレ
Warm
ッ
up?
チしたりして
Stretch?
Okay, warm up.
Running, stretch?
Yes, and the stretching. What kind of stretching is it? Is it? And if you're listening to the show right now, we have games going on, and we have Japanese players that are currently 11, 12-year-olds. They have respect for the game, and they bow to the parents. They bow to the umpires. They have different chants. That's why you're hearing some background noise. That's what's going on right now. And it's very interesting to watch because the culture is to respect the game and respect the umpires and respect the coaches and players on the other team. So we continue with the interview.
今なんで周りがこんなにうるさいかっていうのを説明してる公式戦の最中だからね
So now we continue with the interview. We say, okay, now they stretch. Is the stretching a lot of movement? You know, the stretching, is it movement?
どんなストレッチやってるの
体をいっぱい動かすのか、ただランニングするだけ。
ああいろんな
Yeah?
Some variation?
Some variation of movement. Then after they stretch, then what do they do?
ストレッチしてその後は
キャッチボール
So we play catch. Is there anything special he does when they play catch? Is there anything they concentrate? What do they tell the kids when they play catch? What do they tell them to do correctly? Some of the things they're
キャッチボール
teaching.
でなんか工夫してますかってなんか正しい投球を教えるキープするのに何か出てますか
So look, when they're playing catch, is there something they teach them to to let them?
教えたりしてるんですかねキャッチボールの時に
投げ方ね
How to throw correctly
How to throw correctly, but how about catching the ball? Is there something they tell them? Use one hand, two hands, do something.
受ける方はなんか教えてます
あそう受け方ね
ワンハンドって片手で取るとか両手で取るとか取るとかいや teach them
So what do they do? They
どうやって教える？
some いやどうやって教えてるんだ言葉でそれとも
まあもちろん言葉と体で横について後ろについたり横についたりして
They were doing this is the correct catching style
okay? How long do they play catch for?
どれぐらいキャッチボールするんですか時間は
30分40分
30-40 minutes
30-40 minutes of playing catch. Wow, that's good. And we noticed that the Japanese kids can play catch pretty good.
日本の子供ってキャッチボールうまいって
So now, once they play catch, what's the next step that they take into their practice? What's something they might do?
キャッチボールの後
キャッチボールの後はノックなんていうの
ノック番号
So ground balls. Do they have one coach hitting ground balls? Many coaches hitting ground balls? What kind of system?
ノックは一人のコーチがやるのかそれとも複数のコーチがやる
普通のコーチ
So many
How many coaches
何人ぐらい
do you think they have?
4人5人4人から5人
Four coaches,
4 to 5
and they're at 4 to 5, and there's many ground balls. How long do they do that for?
どれぐらいやる
これも今シーズンに入っちゃうと試合ゲーム形式が入ってくるから多分1時間ぐらいしかやらない
でシーズンじゃなければ
シーズンじゃなければもう2時間とか3時間は
Okay. It's a seasonal game, official game. I mean, it's minimize time to practice. Let's say 1 hour. But
If there's a game, they practice 1 hour before the game?
ゲームの前にやるんですか1時間
ゲームの前じゃないシーズンっていうのは、12月1月がオフシーズン
December to January the off season,
Right.
let's say, and from the February to November, 2月から11月 so in the game season, the 1 hour for the
Practice.
Yeah, practice. And December to January, 2時間。
2時間から3もう
2 to 3 hours for that ground ball.
So they take 2-3 hours of ground balls. Oh wow!
You
That's-
calculate it takes almost 4 hours now.
Yeah. So if you're listening, to the show, they take a lot of ground balls, and if you've heard me talk before, you know that players take in Japan. They work out more than anybody in the world. If we take 100 ground balls, they take 400, and you can see that they start them very young in doing that. Okay, so now they've taken ground balls. Do they take a break, or do they just keep going for the 8 hours?
いや休憩はありますよね。
Yes, of course.
Yes.
どれぐらい取ってるんですか How often?
And that was kidding, as you know. Of
1
course,
時
they
間に
take a
1回
break.
学校の授業と一緒にテク
10分
5分から
Yeah, he take a rest time for 5 minutes every hour.
So for every hour, 5 minutes, they take a break. And then now, what else do they do after they take ground balls? What other things? Because they have all day. What else do they work on?
この後何してるんですか
10分あとは、バッティング
Batting
Batting.
practice?
Now, batting practice. A lot of times, coaches that are inexperienced, they have one pitcher, one coach pitching, one hitter, and everybody else standing out there. I know the Japanese. What kind of system does manager Iwata use?
Batting practice?
For batting practice, yes. Do many kids swing the bat, or is it just one and everybody else waits?
どんなバッティング練習してるんですかってアメリカ彼の経験から言うとバッティングピッチャーコーチが投げてで一人が打ってるっていうのがたまにはたくさんの人が打ったりするんですか
4チームに分けて1チームが大体6人7人
He makes 4 groups.
4 groups.
Yes. And then?
T バッティングに
So soft toss, one group,
T グルー
two group,
プ
soft
で
toss.
T グループが中で
Hitting on the
2
field.
グループでヘディング2グループでトス
こ
バッティング
れとあと鳥かごで
into gauge?
In the cage.
Yeah, cage,
So
yes.
group hitting
Toss.
in the cage.
Oh,
Throwing. Now ask Mr. Iwata, who's doing the throwing? Coaches or kids?
コーチ
Coach is doing the pitching. Who's doing the soft toss?
これはコーチ
Coach also. But I noticed some practices, kids also toss. Yes?
選手が
Sometimes?
上げてるのもありますよね
時もある
いや sometimes
Sometimes also the kids. Now, give us an idea, the basic idea of Japanese hitting. What is it? What do they, just the basic stance and the swing. What is important?
バッティングの基本
In the
で
hitting.
大切なものは何ですか何を教えてるんですか
What do they focus on the
いや
most?
何が一番重要だと
まあレベルに振ることと
レベルオブスイング
Level swing,
なんていうの突っ込まない
なんていうか突っ込まない
oh,
keep
don't go forward.
いやいや
Okay, so stay balanced. Okay, and is balance very important through the swing? In other words, when they swing, do they want the kids to stay completely balanced?
バランスはとても重要ですよ
Yes, it's important. I notice the Japanese kids, they bring their leg up, right? Why do they do that? What's the
足上
main
げる子いる
reason?
よねって日本のルールでなんでだ
一度上げさせないんだ
ああ There is no player in his team
Okay, so
No.
his team don't raise the leg up. But I'm curious, does he know why other Japanese
なんで
players do
他の
that?
プレイヤーは上げてるんだ
聞いたこともないから
No?
Never heard about that
Never. Okay, so
In this league, I think.
so for his team, what do they do? Do they just lift it up? Do they step? What's the
こう教えてんだ上げ
what
ない
do they do mostly?
こうスライスするのか
すり足か
Okay.
スライド
かなんだ
うわ
上げないやつノーステップ打法
Nothing?
体重だけ
Nothing.
か
No slide or slide.
Okay. And I notice he comes back and then goes forward. Like back and forward to get momentum. Okay, that's very good. And is there anything else that Wada-san, when they work on hitting, is there anything else that they teach that can be helpful to other coaches in the world?
他の世界の他のコーチに知っててほしい。こういう教えるポイントがあるよっていうのがあれば教えてください。
他のチームに
他のチーム、世界中の他のチームのコーチに。何でもいいですよ。メンタル。
Here,
適当に返事するから何でもいいですよ。
基本が大事なんで
The most important thing is basic skill.
Basic skill.
Yeah.
And is there the last question for hitting? Like you said, in their mind, what do they tell the kids when they go to home plate? What do they want them to think about?
バッターボックスでどういうことを考えろって教えてる？メンタルで。In the game, right?
Yeah, in the game. Nothing, or is there?
何も考えるなっていうのか。
まあ子供によって違って
It depends on the kid's characteristic.
Yes.
But
ボール球を振るとヒットにならないということを
don't hit the ball.
ストライクゾーンを振る
Hit the strike.
Okay, so they want to concentrate on
yeah.
strikes.
Yeah.
So in practice,
練習の時は
練習の時も
do they tell them also in practice swing only at strikes?
練習の時にストライクだけ振るように教えてるのか？Yes.
ローボール低めと高めを見逃す
Don't throw the low ball and the high ball. Concentrate the strike zone.
So they concentrate
Even in
on
the practice.
right. So they concentrate on doing that in practice, so that way it's the same in the game.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now we're coming to the end, and we're going to kind of finish with the practice. What else during that day would they be working on? So they have hitting, throwing, they have fielding. What do they do with their pitchers? How do they practice with their pitchers?
ピッチャーはどんな練習してるの？
ピッチャーはピッチングコーチがブルペンで
At the bullpen, the pitching coach teaches.
In the bullpen.
Yeah.
In the bullpen, the pitching coach teaches. They're throwing to a catcher. Is there a hitter there, or only just a catcher?
バッター立たせるからです。
立たせない
No, just pitching.
Yes.
Okay, and
あとはゲーム形式で
Sometimes to make games, educate pitchers.
so during the 8-hour practice, you might have a practice game between the
8時間
team.
の時に練習紅白戦っていうのなんていうのはやる。
紅白戦はやる時もあるけどほとんどやらない
Sometimes do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. Just practice.
Okay, now the Japanese are very serious in what they do, right? They're very professional. They focus on working on the skills. Is there what do they do, or do they do it? Is there something they do to have fun during that time, or is it all about just getting the work done?
野球練習してる時に真剣じゃないですか。日本は。なんか楽しいことっていうか遊びっていうのなんていうの？そういうのなんかあるか。じゃただこう真剣に野球を練習やらせてるのか？どっちですか？
もちろん真剣にやってるけれども
Concentrate to the practice.
もちろん遊びというか
Sometimes make some fun. どんな楽しみっていうか遊びっていうのは
冗談を言ったり
Talking joke.
Okay, so making jokes with the kids, having fun that way.
Yes.
But most of the time on the field, it's about getting things done
Yes.
and doing it well.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Concentration.
And concentration. Last question, and ask Mr. Wada-san, at the end of practice, what does he do, or what do they do? Anything at the end of practice? How do they finish practice?
練習の最後はどうしてるんですか？
最後は、 ダウン、クールダウン。
クールダウン
Cool down. What do they do for cool
どう
down?
やって
一緒走って、
running
So they run after practice? When they, curious, when they run, do the kids have the glove on or is the glove off?
グローブはめて走ってますか
走るんです
No, no glove. And then they run. Okay, and that's how they finish the practice?
それでおしまい走っておしまいいやいや
Okay, fantastic. Again, we want to thank Mr. Awada-san, the manager of Nakano Little League
Yes.
here in Tokyo, Japan. Thank you very much, Mr. Awada-san, and it was fun watching your game.
Thank you.
Is there anything he wants to say at the end?
なんか言いたいことありますか
I guess not. We're going to end the show there. This is Pete Caliendo. This is the International Baseball Coaches Show. We're again in Tokyo, Japan. But just to give you an example, we're going to take the camera and we're going to show a little bit of what is here.
Yes.
So if we can, but if you can move a little bit, you can see here the parents. You know, the executives sitting here. We have all the equipment that's there. The moms are working the concession area. You know, they're responsible for that area there. We come over here, we can see you have the batting area where there's an X, and that's an interesting thing. Where there's an X, that means you can't go there unless you're an official. And then when you see the circle, that's the batting circle for the hitter. The Japanese kids stay in that area. They don't go away from that area. They're focused on it. And then you can see obviously now that there's a game going on throughout the Little League. Okay, we're glad that you joined us. This is Pete Caliendo, one of the co-hosts. Our other co-host, Yasuhiko Nagase, currently is in another part of Japan interviewing other managers and coaches. This is the International Baseball Coaches Show. We want to thank you for joining us. And remember, don't forget, this is an educational show for coaches and parents that we hope around the world can gain experience and learn a lot from each other. So we hope you have a great coaching day, a great season. We'll see you on the next show. Good night.